Please give him a warm round of applause, Mr. Valdis Dombrovskis. Danke.
The microphone is not working, or is it? No, it is not. Okay, so distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you for this invitation. It's a pleasure to join you again. If there is one thing that every participant on this year's conference can agree on, is that we find ourselves in a rapidly changing world. Old certainties, such as rules-based order, are being challenged. Technological change is accelerating. Trade tensions are rising. Europe's foundational values and security assumptions are being tested. There are great and growing tests which we need to deal with, and we are living in pivotal times. As a starting point, before there is economic security, there is hard security. Hard security is a fundamental basis for long-lasting stability and prosperity. Without hard security, there can be no growth, no innovation, no social protection. Since February 2022, Ukraine and its people have stood at Europe's front line, protecting also our people and values in the face of Russia's vicious onslaught. It is clear to everyone, Ukraine is fighting both for themselves and for us. There can be no economic stability and secure Europe without lasting peace in Ukraine. And it is also clear that there can be no peace negotiations about Ukraine without Ukraine. No negotiations that sidelines the very European countries on which these negotiations will cast the longest shadow. The final outcome of this war will have a profound and long-lasting impact on security on the European continent, including that of NATO countries. Any peace deal must be lasting and offer real security guarantees to Ukraine. Supporting Ukraine is a soundest investment in our long-term prosperity and resilience that we can possibly make. With regard to our financial support, we are broadly on track. In January, the European Commission disbursed the first 3 billion euros tranche on its exceptional macro-financial assistance loan for Ukraine. This was the EU's first disbursement to the G7-led Extraordinary Revenue Acceleration Loans Initiative, which collectively aims to provide approximately 45 billion euros in financial support to Ukraine. And these loans will be repaid from proceeds from immobilized Russian state assets. This means that Russia is itself paying for the destruction it is causing in Ukraine. In total, the EU is expected to provide 18.1 billion euros to Ukraine under this instrument by the end of the year. And on top of this, there is Ukraine facility of 50 billion euros for the years 2024 to 2027. And we aim to disburse 12.5 billion euros this year. We are now at the decisive moment. Democracies can work together to tame autocrats and tyrants, or we will see the decomposition of the global order as we knew it and normalization of tyrants and war criminals. The return of the rule of the might, transactions replacing values. So Europe must recognize that the world has changed. From disinformation to cyber attacks to sabotage, the threats to Europe's economies, people and way of life are real and imminent. This is why we need to urgently and significantly enhance the resilience of our societies, but also act to fill in the gaps in our defense capabilities and boost our defense industry. And we must do it now before it is too late. Europe needs to fully set sail by mobilizing an ambitious defense spending, both at national and EU level. And in this context, the European Commission will publish the white paper on future of European defense next month. Today, our ability to preserve our security and protect our values depends more than ever on our economy's capacity to adapt to and compete in this changing and complex world. The good news is that the European economy has all the fundamental assets needed to successfully compete in a changing global economy. We have a well-educated and skilled workforce, a large pool of private capital, a stable and predictable legal environment, a rule of law, and strong social safety nets. We also, of course, have one of the greatest achievements of the European Union, the single market. While we have successfully navigated a period of significant challenges in recent years, demonstrating a remarkable degree of economic resilience, the EU continues to be confronted with significant structural challenges. Europe has not kept pace with other major economies over the course of the last decades due to the persistent gap in the productivity growth. We can no longer afford to continue business as usual. Last year's Draghi report provides a timely analysis of the competitiveness issues facing Europe and a blueprint of policy action needed to overcome them. The Commission has prioritized enhancing Europe's competitiveness in this new mandate. To this end, we have already presented our competitiveness compass that will guide our work on reigniting Europe's economic dynamism over the next 5 years. Part of the EU's competitiveness agenda is reducing excessive dependencies and increasing our economic security. It is in the interest of the EU and our partners that the European approach to economic security remains proportionate and targeted. It also needs to be risk-based and pragmatic. Currently, we are accelerating our work across all 4 risk priorities identified in our economic security strategy. First, resilience of supply chains and energy security. Second, critical infrastructure, which includes energy grids that the panel will discuss in a moment. Third, technology leadership and challenges we face, as well as technology leakage. The AI summit just took place in Paris, and we will discuss AI further today. AI is also driving a paradigm shift in security and defense. These shifts are also showcased by Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, where AI is used for autonomous systems, decision-making algorithms, and battlefield analytics. So we need to maintain a leadership in technologies such as AI and quantum, while making sure that our technologies and intellectual property do not leak to regimes that will turn them against us. The fourth and final category of risks is the weaponization of economic dependencies and coercion, including in trade. When it comes to trade, we deeply regret the recent decisions concerning tariffs. We see no justification for the United States to impose tariffs on our exports. This is especially true given the deeply integrated production chains established through extensive transatlantic trade and investment ties. In 2023, transatlantic trade between the EU and US exceeded 1.5 trillion euros. Together, EU and US represents almost 30% global trade, so there is lots of stake economically. We are currently assessing the scope of the announced measures and will be ready to respond in a firm and proportionate way. When it comes to China, our economic security strategy aims to maximize the benefits of openness while minimizing our strategic dependencies and vulnerabilities. In essence, we are focused on de-risking, not decoupling. Both in the case of US and China and beyond, the European Union stands ready to assert its interests forcefully, but in a fair and proportionate way. To summarize and to conclude, Europe now needs to decide if we wish to be players or merely spectators in this new world. We can emerge from this challenging period strong, secure and prosperous, but that demands active action. And I'm determined to play my part to ensure that we can take such action. Thank you very much.